Okay, this video tutorial looks at the mathematical strand of patterns and algebra, and more specifically we're going to look at using expansion of brackets and using the acronym FOIL to help us understand that expansion. So basically what FOIL helps us do is evaluate two sets of brackets that have multiple terms in them. So it's important to understand that the product of the general rule of bracket A plus B bracket C plus D has two factors in which A plus B is a factor, okay, and C plus D is a factor. Now essentially we're going to evaluate this product using a term or an acronym we call as FOIL. Now FOIL stands for the product of the first terms. So if we're using our example, all right, we can see that the first terms are the A and the C. All right. O in the FOIL represents the outer terms. I'll use a different color. The outer terms are the A and the D. The I represents the inner terms, okay, which is the B and the C. And the L in FOIL represents the last terms, which is the B and the D. So essentially, all of the terms on opposite brackets are actually being multiplied together. Now let's have a look at an example of using FOIL. It might make a little bit more sense when we're using an example. First question says, use the FOIL method to expand the following. So remember, F stands for first, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply x and x. That gives me x squared. The O stands for the outer or outside terms, so I'm going to multiply the x and the 4, which gives me 4x. The I stands for the inside terms, so that's going to give me 3x. And the L stands for the last terms, which is going to give me 12. And I can then collect like terms, so simplify the expression and end up with x squared plus 7x plus 12. In our second example here, we're going to do the exact same method. So our first and our first terms, 2x times 3x gives me 6x squared. I'm then going to multiply the outer terms, so 2x times 2, which gives me 4x. I'm going to multiply the inside terms, which gives me minus 3x. And then I'm going to multiply the last terms, which gives me minus 2. And then I'm going to collect like terms like I normally would, so I end up with 6x squared plus x, or 1x, minus 2. Okay, I'd now like you to have a go at some practice questions. The questions will pop up in a minute. When they do, if you could pause the video, have a go at them, and then we'll go through the answers on the last slide. Okay, so as stated, here are the practice questions. If you can pause the video using FOIL as the method, expand the brackets, that'd be great. And when you think you've got the answer, we'll go to the last slide. Okay, so let's see how you went. Now the first question says, what is the product of bracket x take 1 bracket multiplied by bracket x plus 3 bracket? If we're going to use our FOIL, we want to use our first terms, so multiply the first terms, that'll give us x squared. Multiply the outer terms, which is plus 3x. Multiply the in terms, which is minus 1x, or just minus x. And then multiply the last terms, which gives us minus 3. So that's going to give us an overall answer of x squared plus 2x take 3. And let's use a different color for the second question. Remember here, we need to multiply the 3x by the 2x, so that gives us 6x squared. We then multiply the outside terms, so that gives us plus 9x. Multiply the inside terms, which is plus 2x, and multiply the last terms, which is plus 3. We then actually have to use the distributive law here to expand these brackets, so we end up with plus 3x take 6. And then we can actually collect some like terms here. So we can end up with 6x squared. We've got a 2x, a 9x, and a 3x. That's going to give us 14x. Then we have a positive 3 and a minus 6. That's going to give us a total of minus 3. And that's our answers.